ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
I want to make it clear that the views expressed by our hosts are not considered the official stance of MBR Views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Find us on the web at mbradio.com.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Battle Rhythm Podcast. I am Caesar, your host, and I am joined today by Josh Turner, not the Josh Turner, to be confused with the country music star. This is Josh Turner with CEO. He's the CEO of Turner Financial Group. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm living the dream, man. I'm here. I'm enjoying the day. It's a good Harley day. I should have been riding, but apparently I got this show that I got to do, so it is what it is. So. All right. So, first of all, I want to thank you for actually coming on a very last minute. I know that we had talked and you're like, yeah, I do this, I do that. I was like, you know what? This would be a really good thing to actually watch to bring up, because there's a lot of veterans that actually, are having, let's just say, financial issues. And also with those financial issues, usually if they're at the end of their life, they're going to be leaving their families in dire straits sometimes. So the reason is because we just don't manage money well. So why don't you go ahead and give us a little rundown of what your company does and what you actually do, where you're at, and the 5 W's, the who, what, where, and why.
Gotcha. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for taking the time to have me on today. Appreciate you. It was good talking to you. I guess I just met you the other night, right? And so we kind of hit it off. But anyway, I got a little bit of background on you. I know you served. I know this podcast is dedicated to those that served. And I just want to say thank you to all of you guys for what you've done for this country and for all of us. It's
thanks for your support.
Not taken for granted. Appreciate that very much. A little bit about myself. I haven't always been in insurance. A couple of years ago, I didn't know not a thing about it. I actually worked for Pepsi Bottling Ventures here in North Carolina. I did that for 13 years, drove trucks, had Class A CDLs, got into sales, became territory sales manager. And I liked that role, but the pay wasn't too great. And I had 2 young kids at the time. And I was paying more for daycare than I was the mortgage on my house. I guess some of you guys can relate to that.
No, nobody can relate to adulting things. Not at all.
Very much paycheck to paycheck with no money left over. I was looking for anything just to make one extra paycheck a month. And my paychecks were usually about $700, maybe a little more, cleared every week. So not making a ton of money, even though I had been there for 13 years. Right. But, I was just looking to pick up an extra paycheck. Got introduced to the insurance world, and I fell in love with it. And the reason I fell in love with it was because I realized I'm going to be protecting people from having to go through what I myself went through when my father passed away unexpectedly. My first year at college is when my dad passed away. And my family was more or less left with nothing. He had the wrong type of insurance policy. I'm sure he didn't know that. I figured this out later as I got more acclimated and knowledgeable about the business. So I have a passion for protecting people properly so that their families don't go through what my family went through. And life insurance is an investment. It really is. Once you understand the ins and outs of it and what all you can do with it. A lot of people don't understand what all you can do with life insurance because it's not advertised or anything like that, because there's tax-free advantages to life insurance policies.
You don't say.
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, here we go. Now you're talking our language, because
exactly.
otherwise I want to pay taxes.
And you're like, well, why don't they ever talk about that? Well, why would they advertise that? The government's not getting their money. These financial advisors aren't making money off of your money year in, year out. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
As insurance agents, we're only paid on first year annual premium when it comes to the life policies. Now, if you're into other things like Medicare, different things like that, you have residuals as long as you maintain that client, that book of business. But in life insurance, it really is, you're only paid one time on the first year annual premium. So, now you know kind of why I got into it. I was just trying to make an extra paycheck. But I'll tell you this, and I'm not saying this to be braggadocious or anything, but this industry changed my life. The very first week, on a part-time basis, because I was still working for my former employer at this time, I made more money in my first 4 days doing this than 2 months of paychecks. So
no, there you go. I mean,
so,
if that's something to do.
What would normally take me 2 months, I made in my first 4 days part-time, not even really understanding or knowing everything that I know now. I was just kind of out there and kind of being handheld a little bit and guided. And that's what we do. I'm in
the wrong business.
I'll be honest with you. It's what I do is not for everybody. I used to look at it like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And in a way, I still feel like that, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a drive that I have or the passion that I have for it.
Right. You're such an
But to me, it's not a complicated business. If you can talk to people and you can care about people, you can be successful in this business. It's really that simple. It's nothing it's not rocket science or anything like that.
Right. And you're not just in North Carolina, right? You can go anywhere, right?
Yeah. Now I live in North Carolina, but I am licensed across most of the United States. There's some states that I don't have. I could get them if I wanted them, but I have life and Medicare and health from North Carolina to California, a few of the northern states, but it's mostly, southern states from North Carolina and California. But yeah, once you're licensed in your residential state, you can get your non-resident license for any state. You got to pay maybe whatever that state's fees are. Most of them aren't too bad. Illinois is kind of bad. Illinois is kind of high. I mean, I got my South Carolina license and Virginia license for $30 and had it in 10 minutes. Illinois, you got to pay like almost $400 for an Illinois license. To me, it's not really it's almost not even worth having that unless you're doing a lot of business in Illinois. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, so the good thing about our industry is you can basically work from anywhere.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, I've gone on vacations where I've stayed on vacation for a month at a time and just pulled leads while I'm down in that area, right, and made money and stayed on vacation. You can do that.
So as far as getting life insurance, when somebody tries to get the policy, does that policy cost based on income or based on coverage?
Coverage. And it has other determining factors like, health. Are you a smoker, non-smoker, things like that. But and age. So that's why it's better to get it while you're young than waiting till you're older, because every year you're getting older, those premiums are ticking up on you. And then by the time you get into especially your latter years, 60 plus, now you're paying some pretty high premiums.
Okay.
So it's better to get it while you're younger. Even, I talk to people, well, I'm not married, I don't have any kids. It's still better to get it while you're younger. You're eventually going to have family, more than likely. Most people do. It's better to get it while you're young.
Are there any disqualifying factors like a lot of us veterans, especially, we suffer a lot from type 1 or type 2 diabetes. We have hypertension. We have you name it, we have it. A lot of us end up having cancer and things like that, or have had cancer. Are those disqualifying to get a policy?
Oh, they can be for some carriers. Now, the beauty part about like what I do is I'm a broker, so I'm not contracted with just one carrier. I'm not held to just one carrier's products. I can look around across the market. Now, I will say a lot of times, like if you've had a history of heart attack, stroke, or cancer plus diabetes, that combination knocks a lot of people out of different
immediately
insurance options. But there are other options still available. You might not be able to get a $500,000 policy, but you can still get coverage for burial expenses and different things like that to ease the burden on your family. There's still coverage out there that we can find you. There's even if somebody has a terminal illness or like something, let's say they're on oxygen. So if somebody's on oxygen, that's a big determining factor with a lot of the carriers. There's still what's called guaranteed issue. And what that is it does have a 2-year wait period on it. And what that 2-year wait period means is if you were to pass in the first 2 years of the policy, it'll pay back all premiums paid in plus 10%. Now think about that for a minute. Even if you were to pass in the first 2 years of a guaranteed issue policy, your family's still getting all premiums paid plus 10%.
Wow.
So it's not like, I come across some people that are like, well, I'll just save that money and put it in the bank.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Your checking account and savings account's not giving you 10% return on the money.
Right. You're right.
So it's still a good benefit. Now, anybody can get that. Now, after the 2 years, it's going to pay out. So it could be a $25,000, $30,000 policy. It's going to pay out still. That's the only bad thing about it, though. It's got that 2-year wait on it. And that's usually if somebody's on oxygen or if you've had multiple disqualifying events, heart attack, stroke, cancer, diabetes, all of that combined. I mean, yeah.
So that's a good thing that there are many different policies companies that actually allow you to do that. Hey, look, we have a comment from Facebook. I would love to talk to Josh. You can shoot him an email or a message on Facebook at the following email there. So we'll get that for you. Make sure we send it to you so you have a lead there. Do you have a website that we can actually a website or a phone number or a contact that we can actually have you at?
Yeah. Is there a way for me to post that in here?
I am doing that right now, sir. Go ahead.
I got you. Okay, so I'm going to put a couple of my contact information in here for people to reach out to me.
Yep. And you're pretty much all throughout the U.S., right? You can actually purchase.
And I mean, if I come across somebody that is in a state that I'm not licensed in, I will do one of two things. I mean,
get licensed,
I will go get licensed in that state because it doesn't take me all that much effort to get licensed in that state, or I will find a team member associated with us that's in your state that can help you. But typically, I want the business. I want people to be a client of mine, be a client for life, and look after them because I pride myself on that.
Yeah, send me your webpage and email on that one as well. So that's good. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back. By the time we come back, we're going to have that posted for you guys. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Battle Rhythm Podcast, and it's brought to you by LT Defense.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's the line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on the front line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, pay the ultimate price. Oh. He was the man of the house when he was born. His family is proud but torn. But if you knew him, you would understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the flag still wave. And then he came home with only one hand. 'Cause Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's the line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on these front lines. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, he'll pay the ultimate price. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down his line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. March in line, march in line. Hey. Hey.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome back to the Battle Rhythm Podcast. I am Caesar. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are here talking to Josh Turner, not the Josh Turner. I'm sorry, he's not going to be singing. What is it? What's one of those songs that he does?
Long Black Train.
Yeah, that one. Right. We're talking about financial stuff today. We're talking about life insurance. So I'm sorry, I tried to get the real Josh Turner here, but the real Josh Turner is here.
Yeah, if I start singing, you're gonna lose viewers.
Hey, we've lost viewers because we were telling dad jokes a couple weeks ago. So it was pretty funny though. But if you guys have questions for Josh right now, our phone lines are open at 720-619-0627. We are here talking to him about life insurance and how he can actually help you, help him help you. That's great. That was a great line. Help him help you. So his information is up there for you guys to actually call him, and he'll have some answers for you at the time, whatever questions there are. So there you go. So Josh, I have a question. So I know I had inquired because I was kind of curious as to how you actually. You told me how you got into it, but how easy is it for somebody if they're looking for a side hustle or a part-time job, or even maybe switching careers completely, from being a podcaster to actually being an insurance broker? How easy is it to transition to actually become a licensed broker?
Yeah, so it's really not that hard. I suggest that everybody just come on as a part-time. Honestly, fill it out. I think, especially in my case, I had no intention of this really being my career. I was looking for the side hustle. Again, I was just trying to make an extra $700 a month. But like I told you, I quickly found out I'm making a lot more money than my full-time job. And so that's what a lot of people find out when they come into this industry, especially as an independent broker like myself.
Mm-hmm.
You find your part-time income quickly exceeding your full-time income. Now, that's not for everybody. I mean, obviously, you're going to have some people that are out there making a lot of money, but like I wasn't one of those people. But the process to getting licensed is it's a course. So you take an online course on your own time. We just switched over to a new course that we're using called Excel Solutions. And for limited time only to July 31st, we can get that course to you for free. So if you're somebody that's interested in getting your life insurance license, you can actually get the course for free right now when you're with us, Turner Financial Group, powered by Equus Financial. Equus Financial is the insurance marketing organization that I am affiliated with, but I am very much an independent broker, and anybody that comes on with me, they're also independent brokers. I am there as a mentor and a helper, but you are very much your own boss. So the licensing process is you take the course. After you finish the course, you will pay your state fees, whatever state you're in. You'll have state fees there at what's called NIPR.com, National Insurance Producer Registry. Every insurance producer in America has to register on that, within that registry, basically. And so you pay your state fees, background checks, and you take your state exam. Once you've passed your state exam, you get your license within about 2 weeks. It's emailed to you, and you're a licensed broker. From there, we get you contracted with the different carriers that we have contracts with. And then you go out there and start helping families with their different insurance needs as far as life insurance, whether it's mortgage protection, final expense, college funding for the kids, different things like that. We do. I mean, there's a whole plethora of different things that we're able to offer our clients.
So as far as so there is different not genres, but different sections of the life insurance, that it's not just for death or burial, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. So there's other things you can do with life insurance policies. I mean, like, for example, my kids, I have a 10, an 8, and a 2-year-old, all boys. I have what's called indexed universal life on all 3 of my kids. And what that is basically they have life insurance for life. So lifetime coverage. Now, I have set my payments on those as $50 a piece. So I'm paying $50 for each policy. It's building substantial
per month.
Per month. So I'm paying $150 for my 3 boys a month. The beauty part to that is it's all 3 of them. It's over $100,000 of immediate life insurance right now, but not just life insurance. This has what's called living benefits that are built into it. Living benefits protect you in the event of terminal, critical, and chronic illness. So, for example, God forbid, but let's say one of my children developed brain cancer. Mm-hmm. We all see the commercials of, the kid that
when the eyes of
exactly. Okay, God bless them, but I mean, like, a lot of these families, these same types of things happen all the time, and next thing you know, you see families posting GoFundMe on Facebook and different things like that, because the unexpected has happened. Well, the policies that we offer have full living benefits associated with them. Mm-hmm. So again, terminal, critical, chronic illness, they're protected. For example, if my kid was to develop some type of brain cancer, I have access to the face value of that policy to help offset medical costs or anything like that I need to. And over time, that policy, what I'm paying in, a portion of it is going to a cash account that is growing based on the performance of the S&P 500 year to year, which over the last almost 100 years is giving about an 8% average return. Over the last 20 years, it's even done better than that, almost 10% return over the last 20 years, average. But the beauty part to those policies, especially for like kids, I mean, adults can get it too, but it's better to start when you're young. So I've done this for my children because over time, even if $50 is the only thing you ever paid into it, by the time they get to retirement age, they got over $600,000 of tax-free money available to them. But here's the beauty part. Those policies can be overfunded. So as my boys get to working age, I will advise them, you need to at least be matching me, but it would behoove you to max it out. You know, you could pay into like $400 into that policy, and it's growing, compounding over time.
Compounding, I was about to say.
You can literally, I mean, you think about it. You start making a car payment. I'm talking about once my boys get to working age.
Right.
Instead of them paying into something like an IRA or something, which there's nothing wrong with those, but you start paying that into this policy, and your money is going to grow substantially over time. You're going to be able to retire early, or you're going to be able to make additional investments. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm 42 years old. I wish to God I had an IUL put on me when I was a kid, because I'd have
retired and
I'd have a big pot of money over here I can dip into and you know, get real estate investments and different. You get what I'm saying. But the biggest thing about it is you can set these policies in your retirement years to pay you a monthly tax-free income benefit. So you stop paying into the policy, you got this big lump sum there in your cash account. You don't want to just withdraw it all lump sum. You don't want to do that. You're actually losing money by taking it all out at one time. What you want to do is set it to that tax-free income benefit and specify it for something like 20 years, right? So for the next 20 years, you're getting a monthly income check from that policy, tax-free.
Wow,
so those are the types of things that I was kind of alluding to at the beginning that, like, a lot of people don't understand. There's these types of investments out there. That's why I say that life insurance is an investment for you, and if used correctly, can really, really benefit you in life, especially for the kids. And the reason I'm so big about protecting the kids is because generally they're healthy, and because of their age, it's going to be a low cost. Now, I pay $50 towards my boys, but you can pay as low as $25. I have clients that are paying $200 a month for their kids, and those kids have well over $1 million by the time they get to 65. Now, think about that. We always hear on the news every day, they don't even know if Social Security is going to be there for me and you, Caesar. You know?
Yeah, I know. Uncle Joe is not doing a very good job of it.
So I mean, like, you know, this is a way for me, like, you know, I'm not talking to you guys about anything that I myself don't believe in and that I'm not using for my kids. And so those are the reasons why that I'm doing that. But to answer your question, yeah, there are a lot of different things out there that we're able to help our clients with, from retirement planning, college funding, life protection, final expense, burial for their families, different things like that.
So if somebody decides to actually come and join your team, after that, will there be more additional training paid for by the I guess the sponsoring company?
Okay, so no, because you don't. I mean, like, basically, I would be the one. Anybody that joins my team, I train them personally.
Gotcha.
Now, our organization, Equus Financial, we have daily training calls.
That's what I meant. Like,
So that's free.
Okay. Like,
that doesn't cost you anything, and you're like, on the daily training calls, you're hearing from the top producers in our industry. I'm not one of the top producers. I aspire to be one, and I'm working to get there. But I mean, we're talking about some straight up rock stars that are leading these calls, and they're teaching you to do the process exactly how they're doing it. So the best thing about this industry is, if you can be a good copycat, you can be successful, because that's all you got to do is copycat what's happening. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's already been invented. You just copycat what we teach you, and you'll be successful as long as you're putting in the work. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've brought a lot of people into this business and they haven't made it. Well, Josh, why haven't they made it? Because honestly, they didn't put in the work. It's simple as that.
That's so like anything.
What it is, it's not complicated. Yeah, I mean, we have the lifeblood of our business is leads, and yes, we do buy leads, but we get paid very well when we make a sale. So it is kind of like you spend money to make money. Yeah. But these clients have expressed a need for the information, the life insurance, the mortgage protection, etc. And what we're doing is I'll take these leads and I'll call them. Hey, Caesar, this is Josh Turner. I got the request that you had sent in for the information there on the mortgage protection on your home on 5807 Willoughby Road. You know, I'm just the one that goes over that information with you.
Let's just make a disclaimer that's not his house. That is not his house. Please do not go in there.
Yeah, no, I just made that number up, so I don't know, who that would be. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'm calling these folks and letting them know, hey, I'm the one responding to your request, and you can do it virtually or you can go out and see them. Now, I prefer face to face. Truthfully, if I can see somebody face to face, I'd much rather do that because I'm a people person. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I've helped families just like this, where we're over the internet here, and we have a lot of agents that are 100% virtual that help people every day.
Right.
But yeah, so there's a lot of flexibility here in what we do.
Now, if somebody does decide to actually do that and make their own business and actually go into business with a group, would it behoove them to actually start an LLC as a company?
I'd say so. Once you get to that point, I mean, you don't. I wouldn't say that you need to really bother with that on the initial startup. You know, right. Get your feet under you. Once you start getting your cash flow going and you're building your own team, then yeah, I would say go ahead and do the LLC. Which that's not complicated to do an LLC.
No. The only reason I'm saying that is just so because not only does it protect you personally, and you only have it's a limited liability, so you actually have you're able to actually do that if something does happen, right? So
exactly.
CYA.
But yeah, to get into it again, you're talking about a course that you have 2 months to finish the course. But truthfully, I am not a studious person. I don't really like. You get what I'm saying? I'm not studious at all. I finished the course in 1 week flat while working full time and taking care of 2 kids when I got off work by myself till 8 o'clock. And so that first week I was studying 8 o'clock at night to 12 midnight. And I did that for 1 week flat, and I was done with the course and, went through the rest of the process and got licensed. Once you're licensed, again, we have the daily training calls. There's a whole team behind you that helps you. If I'm your upline, I directly help you any way I can, from helping you book the appointments. I sit in on the appointments with you in the beginning to show you how to do this business. So as far as when I'm talking to somebody, say Caesar, let's just say you're with me and you've booked an appointment with Miss Smith. Well, I'm jumping on that call with you with Miss Smith, and I'll more or less, because you're brand new, I'll take that, I'll take that appointment over and let you watch me. But if there's business written, we'll make sure we write it in your name, Caesar, so that you're getting that full commission on that. Now, right. Why would I do that? Because that's a way for me to make sure that you're getting paid and you're seeing that this business is real. Those deposits are real. And you just learn the process from me doing it. And I'll do it more than one time with you. Now, I can't handhold you forever because I got other agents that I'm also training. But I do that for my people. There's going to be some in the industry that would disagree with me doing that. That's fine. You run your organization how you want. I'm just very involved with my people and want to give them the best chance to succeed. I will eventually let go of their hand once I feel like they've had enough right. of the proper training. And then it's totally up to them. I mean, let's be honest, Caesar, there's just some lazy people out here that want money to rain from the heavens, and it just doesn't work like that. Yeah,
they didn't have that generational wealth, that we didn't fall into. So
but I mean, if you got, again, if you can care about people and listen to people, you can do very good for your family while helping other families tremendously. And that's what I love about this business.
That would be good, man. That would be really good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take another break here, and then when we come back, we're going to actually talk to Shannon. She is one of your new recruits, right? She actually started working with you not too long ago. So I want to ask her, basically the same thing. What brought it in here? What brought her, to do this? So we're going to do that after the break. So again, you listen to the Battle Rhythm podcast on Military Broadcast Radio, brought to you by LT Defense Tactical. We'll be back.
Hey guys, Noelle here. In honor of our soldiers, our military personnel that are currently deployed right now, I wanted to take the time to personally thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for all that you guys do, even the veterans. I also wanted you guys to see our team and what they had written to you guys personally. I wish you all nothing but love and respect.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
All right, welcome back to the Battle Rhythm podcast. I've been joined by Josh Turner. Again, not the Josh Turner. And he's not even, there's no relation between Josh Turner and Josh Turner. He's not the long lost twin. And he also is not related to what's his name? Turner from the Blue Jays. He played for the Dodgers for a long time. It escapes me right now. That's so bad. So bad. Anyway, but we are also joined by Shannon. Shannon is one of the new recruits. She's actually just started working with Josh here. So I wanted to ask her, and Shannon, are you there?
I am here.
All right. So Shannon is not going to be on camera right now because she's getting some work done. And we're talking about adult altering work, meaning that there is, maybe the FCC will probably be frowning upon what she's doing. But no, just kidding. But I wanted to ask you, Shannon, what turned you into actually getting into the life insurance gig?
Well, so I've been in dentistry for 15 years. So I've been in healthcare. I've been in that setting for 15 years, and I wanted to be able to work from home / kind of make my own schedule. Be able to utilize my time and manage my time a lot better, especially with I've got 2 young children. And I've known Josh, kind of through the grapevine. I'm in South Carolina. It's where I've lived and for my entire life. But, following Josh and seeing his progression, honestly, even if it was, if I was seeing him and his family progress from the background, it was pretty inspiring. So, kind of like when we all, came together through my live the other night, it all started from there, if you will. I had already been talking to him kind of a little bit, interested in getting into the insurance, life. wanting to know more about how everything would work and what the process would be. And he absolutely has held my hand every day, thus far as to getting me set up and making me feel confident that, that I can do this and that it's going to be a great decision for me to pursue for me and my family.
So, how long did it take you to actually finish that course that he was talking about?
Well, I just started the course. I actually just signed up for it 2 days ago.
Okay.
So, and I've already looked through. It shows you all the different videos, if you will, for each chapter, and it gives you, as he said, it gives you 2 months. But my goal is to get it done at least within maybe not the week that he got it finished, but maybe hopefully my goal is for 2 weeks.
Okay. And what was your biggest inspiration as to doing that? Just because you wanted to work from home, or you wanted to actually spend more time with the kids?
Both. Just because I've struggled, being a single mom. I have definitely struggled with, if my kids were sick, if I myself needed to have a doctor's appointment, or I had to go pick up the kids, take them to the doctor, so on, and it's. I feel like maybe today's world might not be as forgiving sometimes, because I don't have anybody that can help me. I don't have anybody to turn to, in my situation that can kind of help me out if if I need to leave work for the kids, or
Right.
either for myself either.
And did you ever find yourself or see yourself actually doing this type of work?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've always had a passion for helping people in any type of way that I can. And so, when I'm learning that I can achieve a goal for me personally, as in, helping me and my family, but also helping other families at the same time, and be upfront and honest with them. And Josh explained it very well.
Mhm.
He can pull up a policy, if you will. I'm just going to give you an example, and he can say, "Hey, I can get this cheaper for you," and even though you've been my client for 4 or 5 years, and he can also pull up the policy and say, "Hey, you know what? I don't think that, even though it's not that much more a month, why don't we stick with the policy that you already have in place? Because I think that's going to be a better suit for you and your family." He's not out to do absolutely the best what's for him, if you will, to make more money. He actually listens and he cares to each and every one of his clients.
Right. That's a very good quality to have, is the fact that you're not for yourself. It's for for the benefit of everybody else. Obviously, you benefit, yes, but you also benefit. I think there's more reward and there's more satisfaction when you're actually helping others, achieve what they need, or get what they need. Especially because he's going through a situation like he mentioned about losing his dad straight out of college, and having the wrong him having the wrong type of insurance. So he wanted to make sure that nobody else would do that. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that's
Let me-
one thing.
And let me clarify that. So when people hear like, well, he had the wrong type of insurance, what does that mean? Well, what my dad had was what's called an accidental death only policy. And I'm sure that my dad was not explained what that is. Going back over my dad's passing and looking at the policy that he had, what I have determined happened was, and I've seen this happen in the industry, my dad was a smoker. Obviously, smoker ratings are going to be higher, sometimes almost double what a non-smoker rating would be.
Mhm.
I'm sure that somebody quoted my dad a smoker rating, and it was too much. We didn't have a ton of money. We were, I'd say, lower middle class. Middle class, and not poverty, but But anyway, what I believe happened, and almost certain that this is what happened. The smoke rating was too high. My dad turned it down. And then this person, I don't know who the individual was, but this person then quoted an accidental death only policy. Well, what if I could get you such and such for this price? Accidental death is going to be much cheaper. Why? Is because accidental death only pays out due to an accident, which is classified as you trip, fall, break your neck, get hit by a car, get shot at a stoplight, struck by lightning, something like that. My dad passed due to a sudden and massive heart attack. That's a natural cause. Therefore, his policy didn't pay out. I have gone into homes where I've seen elderly folk that have an accidental death only policy. And you can go look up the statistics on how often an accidental death only policy pays out. It's probably about 1% of the time, because most people are not dying due to an accident. Most people die of natural cause.
Yeah.
So those are not really doing a whole lot for you. Now, if you were somebody that was in like trucking, like you're an over the road trucker or underwater welder or, something like that, where you have a higher degree of potential accidental death, then by all means, that makes sense for that type of person.
Right.
And so like, Caesar, let's say that you had, that you were an over the road trucker. The way I would approach you is like, if I'm talking about life, number one, I'm going to make sure that you have a life policy that's going to cover you in the event of any death. Doesn't matter what you pass of, it's going to pay out to your family. And then some people are, what about suicide? Yeah, even suicide after 2 years. Suicide is after 2 years. So even if somebody made it 2 years, it'll pay out to their family, even if they committed suicide 2 years later. Now, all the other part of that coverage would be immediate day one. So you could sign up for a policy today and 2 months from now have a heart attack and die. It's going to pay out. Now, every insurance policy has a 2-year contestability period, every insurance policy. And what that is there for is to protect the insurance carrier, to make sure that everything was on the up and up when the policy was written. Does that make sense?
It sure does. See, nobody ever takes the time to actually either educate themselves about these things, and or nobody ever takes the time to actually explain it the way you're doing it. That's the thing.
Yeah. So most insurance, I'm not speaking for all the insurance agents out there, but let's be honest, there is like most people have this. What's the word I'm looking for, Caesar? Like they have this outlook already on sales agents or insurance agents.
It reminds me of Groundhog Day. Hey, Bill, is that you?
Yeah.
Right?
Needle nose Ned.
Yes.
That's what it reminds me of. It just totally
coldest player in the game right there, Needle nose. But they have they already got their mind made up about most insurance agents.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of insurance agents out there that are looking out for themselves, and they're looking to make a quick dollar, and they're throwing these high premiums at the client. Why? Because they're getting paid more on it. That's not the way.
Exactly.
That's not the way my organization runs. And if I find out that one of my agents is doing that kind of stuff, you're not going to be a part of my agency. We're here to help people. Right. And I really believe that if you do right by people, I'm Christian, so I really, I don't want to get into religion on here, but I feel like if I do right by people, then God's going to bless me for it in one way or another, whether it be health, my kids' health, whatever. I'm going to do right by people because that's what I'm about. And that's what we're going to do in my organizations. We're going to do right by people and make sure that people are taken care of properly the first time. And that's the way it's going to be. What Shannon was alluding to there a minute ago, where she was saying that I found something better for one of my existing clients. I always do reviews with my existing book of business. I came across a client the other day that I had written a term policy on, and I noticed that he only has 5 years left on that term policy. Term insurance does not build cash value. Once you've basically rented your coverage for a term period of time, whether that term's 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, you get it. You got it for that term period of time, and then it's gone. All the money that you've paid into it, gone. The insurance carrier has kept it all. That's what term insurance is. Now it comes in at, typically it'll come in at a little bit of a lower cost, but you're saying like, well, if something happens within this period of time, it's going to pay out. That's true.
Good.
It will if you pass during that period of time.
Exactly. So you know what this leads me to.
Most people don't pass in that period of time.
No. So if you guys, if any of our listeners actually want to get in touch with Josh, let's put up that graphic again there, Big Riz. Make sure that everybody can get his information. So if everybody wants to get in touch with Josh, they can call this number or email him, and he can go ahead and set you up with either getting you some life insurance for you and your family, or to actually be part of the organization for you guys to actually get either as a part-time side hustle or make it your own business. Because again, if you're into helping people, which most of the veterans are, helping about one another, this is what the show is about, highlighting different businesses that actually will benefit veterans and their families. That's why I started into this platform, so we started doing that. So, but this leads me into a new segment that we are actually doing. It's called Rapid Fire Questions.
Rapid Fire Questions of the Week, sponsored by James Oreskog, giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
All right. As I promised, are you guys ready for these rapid fire questions?
I don't know.
Ready as can be, I suppose.
All right, Shannon, we'll start with you since ladies first.
Oh, goody.
What is your favorite military movie?
Ooh, The Patriot.
Okay, all right.
It would. I know. You'll allow it. Okay. Can I say Saving Private Ryan? Would that?
Okay. Yeah, that's a close second for me. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Josh.
God, I got a lot of them.
Well, no, that's not the question, though. That's not the question, sir.
I know.
Oh, you get a different question.
Yeah.
Do I get a different question, or I
you
get
get a different question?
Okay, I got a different question. All right, never mind. Right. Shoot.
And don't be biased. Which is better, North Carolina barbecue or South Carolina barbecue?
North Carolina barbecue.
Oh, I got the Carolinas.
Oh.
All right. And I'm pretty sure Shannon's going to say that it's South Carolina.
I've actually had some really good South Carolina barbecue too.
See?
But no.
I like for me, it has to be mustard based, and that's what a lot of South Carolina people like. So.
Facts.
There you go. See? All right. Well, next question. All right. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. What is your one regret as a teenager?
Ooh. I don't know. Oh, one regret as a teenager. Probably my hairstyles.
Oh, God. Did you have the big Aquanet hairstyles?
No, it wasn't the Aquanet, but it was, there was some days where, like, I would go in with braids in my hair, and then by the end of the day, like, I would not have braids in my hair, and I was like, why did I ever take my braids out? I should have just put my hair up.
Oh, God. You had the Monica going.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
All right, Josh. What is your greatest... I don't want to say accomplishment because I think we're still young for like a greatest accomplishment, but I think what is your greatest satisfaction that you've gotten so far? Like not like self-gratifying, but what is like something that you've really cherished, the fact that you're like, oh, you know what, did I do that? Like that really happened to me.
Being a father.
See, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. Aside from me kids.
Okay, aside from my kids.
Be selfish.
Okay, so what's my greatest satisfaction in life outside of my kids?
Yeah.
I would say my relationship with Jesus Christ.
All right, I'll allow it. That's good. That's good.
Well, I don't think you can really take that away from him.
No, I'm not going to take that. Yeah, that's already a paid debt. I mean, I'm not saying that's all good. So I appreciate that. So, all right, Shannon, back to you. Are you ready? Oh wait,
I'm ready. I'm
All
ready.
right. Coke or Pepsi?
Oh, Coke.
Coke or Dr. Pepper?
Oh, Dr. Pepper.
Ah, my girl. There it is. Josh. Same question on this one.
Same question?
Same question. Coke or Pepsi?
All I know is Pepsi paid me most recently, so.
And this segment is not brought to you by Pepsi. It's brought to you by Dr. Pepper.
That's actually Dave Chappelle actually said that one time, so I just quoted Dave Chappelle. Right there.
Yes, you did. I know exactly. I was like, yep, he just quoted some Dave Chappelle.
Oh my gosh. And this show has gone downhill. Last week was a show about nothing. Last week was a show about Seinfeld. We did nothing.
It sure was. It was fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
This week seems about to be the same. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
All right. One last question for each one of you.
Okay.
All right. Shannon,
yes.
In the next 3 months, aside from being, a mother and whatnot, what do you see yourself doing selfishly? Aside from your tattoo that you're getting right now.
Sure. Selfishly. That's hard. I don't know. I do everything for my kids, so this is like one of the only things that I go and do. I don't know, Caesar. I don't know.
Oh well, you need.
I don't know how to. I don't know.
That's what rapid fire is. Rapid fire questions are
rapid fire questions. Maybe getting in a routine to go get my nails done, because I used to always have my nails done, and I have not gotten my nails done in a year. So maybe getting in a routine of that. I miss it. I definitely miss it.
Oh, you got talons going right now?
Oh, no. I don't have my nails done at all. I need to go get it. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe the next 3 months I'll get in a routine of going to get them done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Josh, what is your favorite baseball team?
My favorite baseball team?
Yep.
Atlanta Braves.
I knew you were going to say that.
All right. Outside of that, it would be the Texas Rangers.
Well, it doesn't matter to me. I'm a Dodger fan, so we're good.
Those are my two: Atlanta Braves and Texas Rangers.
All right. Hey, so that's the rapid fire questions. I mean, everybody gets whatever reason to get scared of these questions. It's like, why? They're not that bad.
Yeah, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not bad. Is what it is. So. All right, guys. Well, I am so thankful that you guys came on the show to tell us about the personal experiences that you've gotten with starting this business. First of all, Josh, thank you for that, and I hope that anybody that's listening to us they are if they're interested in actually updating their life insurance or looking into different options about life insurance, you give Josh a call. And the second is that if you want to actually become part of his team, the information is there as well. We can hook you up with that. We'll have the information at the end of the show as well, so you guys can actually join it. Shannon, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know you're busy right now trying to get some life-altering decisions there. If I were, I'm gonna do my dad thing right now. Is like make good life decisions, and you're not making one right now.
Oh. Okay, then. Well, you are welcome. I appreciate you having me, Caesar. Appreciate everything that y'all do.
Yeah, we will see where that leads us, young lady. All right.
Yes.
So, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun with you guys, and I hope that Josh, that you'll come back after a friend of the show anytime you want to come back and give us an update on not only your business but also on the team and see how you guys are doing. You're more than welcome to do that, and we appreciate you actually taking the time.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to have me on today. Anybody that wants to reach out to me and get a quote or ask me some questions about stuff, no obligation or anything like that on anything. I'm here to help people. If I can help you, be happy to help you. Again, if you're interested in the business, we can get that course to you for free to July 31st.
There it is. So, all right, Joe, people, go ahead and call in, bombard him with questions, bombard him with actually joining his team. So he will hold your hand for a year. So we're good. But hey, we're going to take a quick break. You are listening to the Military Broadcast Radio. When we come back, we're going to have Jenna Adams. She has worked with the VA system in the community care network for about 15 plus years. So she's going to give us a rundown of what the VA community care health system does for the veterans and what we can expect, how to navigate it, because again, the VA can be a very tricky place to navigate and a lot of red tape. So we're going to come back. You're listening to the Military Broadcast Radio, and this is the Battle Rhythm Podcast on MBR.
Introducing LT Defense Tactical Gear, your ultimate solution for top-notch protection and performance in the field. Our armor bundles provide unmatched safety and comfort, while our battle belts and holsters ensure quick and easy access to your gear. Stay prepared for any situation with our high-quality medical supplies, designed to keep you ready for action at all times. Looking to enhance your skills? Our firearms training programs will take your proficiency to the next level. Trust LT Defense for all your tactical gear needs and gear up for success on the battlefield.
This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
I want to make it clear that the views expressed by our hosts are not considered the official stance of MBR Views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Find us on the...
You are listening to the Battle Rhythm Podcast on Military Broadcast Radio, brought to you by LT Defense. You can find us on the web by going to mbradio.us. You can also download the app on the Apple Store and Google Play.
Here we are. Welcome back to the Battle Rhythm Podcast. I am Caesar. I am now joined by Jana Adams, who has worked for the VA healthcare system for many, many years. And she has worked on the community care network side of it, right?
So I have actually only worked for the VA for about 4.5 years, but I spent about 8.5 years working for the state of Missouri as a disabled veterans outreach program specialist. Best way I can describe that is I helped unemployed veterans find jobs for 8.5 years for a living.
It's same.
I mean, it's all federal money one way or another. So.
Right. Somebody won the contract that you were able to be employed. So there you go. Yeah. So we're good. So the biggest thing that I wanted to bring you on is because a lot of us, this radio station is actually meant for a lot of veterans and also for first responders. But the majority of us are veterans, and we've had to navigate the VA, and the VA has a lot of red tape. They take forever to do, what do you call it? I'm sorry, I just lost train of thought.
I am one of the people that tries to help the veterans, as a veteran myself, cut through the red tape of getting the
Right.
care that they need. And like, to give you an idea, I had surgery on Monday and
That's right. You told me
other
that.
things
Yeah.
going on, and I literally am currently fighting myself right now as an employee to get the care that I need to go back out into the community. So
Yes, because it's so bad. Like I've been waiting for a referral. God dang it! How can I forget? I've been waiting for a referral to go see a specialist down in Dallas, and for over a year now.
what
And
area of care is it?
it's through community care. The
I
community
know,
care
but what
doctor,
area? What I mean by what area of care is it? To go see an orthopedist, a neurologist, a
surgeon,
neurosurgeon,
surgeon,
general surgeon?
I think it's oncology surgeon.
How come you've been waiting for a year for an oncology surgeon?
Because the VA is taking forever to actually approve it.
Okay, what I
My
want you to do is get a hold as soon as you get off of this with me. You need to get on the phone with your patient advocate immediately and ask what the fuck is taking so long. Excuse my language. The
Yep.
sailor in me still comes out.
Were you medical? Were you
No, I was
plumbing?
actually a jet engine mechanic in the Navy.
AE? No, not AE.
I was an
AM. AD. That's right.
I was an AD.
I was the Navy H.
Okay.
I was on a carrier.
So have you ever seen the movie Clear and Present Danger?
Yes.
Okay, so there's an E2 that's sitting there as they bring that 18 up on the elevator. That E2 was one of my squadron's aircraft. I was literally on deck during that movie.
Oh, okay. I got one for you. Since we're doing the one-up thing.
No, I'm not trying to one up. I'm just saying I was literally that best way to explain it.
That's funny. No, it's
Ooh, I got you all beat on that one.
Shut up. Nobody's talking to you. This is my show, not yours.
Hey, I got
Okay,
Toby Keith around.
Who is the random voice that I can't
Oh,
see?
this is that. By the way, that's Big Grizz. He's my producer for the show. He's normally in the background. I should have just muted him. I didn't give him any coffee today, so he's probably like he's craving attention right now.
He thinks he can do anything he wants while he's
Yeah,
up there.
and it's like,
Okay.
get off my show. Get off my lawn. So okay, so speaking of being famous or whatever, you remember that movie Pearl Harbor?
Yes.
So that movie was actually premiered on the USS John C. Stennis.
Okay.
That went from San Diego to Hawaii to Pearl Harbor. I was on that ship.
Okay.
I actually ended up sneaking into the premiere. I put my lights on. I actually escorted Courtney Love because I was on the stairwell and she was wearing this long dress that she stepped on and she almost fell down the stairs. So I caught her and she's like, "I think you better walk me to the restroom." I was like, pretty sure I should. I ended up walking her over, and anyway, but yeah, that's my story. And I'm sticking to it. But I also met like Josh Hartnett, who was on there. He was super cool. The one who was kind of a jerk was Ben Affleck, and
somehow that doesn't surprise me.
And he was smoking on the flight deck after we spent a whole week, the 5 days that we transited from San Diego to Hawaii. He was smoking on the flight deck, and we had the pad eyes on the flight. Rubbing them with the metal brushes, and this dude just ended up like smoking it, and then threw his cigarette butt on the deck. I was like, oh, I wanted to punch him. Anyway,
I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
But getting back to our regular scheduled program here, I will get a hold of the patient advocate because this is ridiculous. I went to my primary care doctor, and I told her. She actually was the one that actually sent me to the specialist. There's other issues going on, and she sent me to the specialist. That specialist then referred me down to UT Southwest in Dallas, and they called me and they're like, "Oh, it's a VA referral." It's like, yeah, like, well, they need to put another referral in order to. I was like, why can't this referral be that same one for that? So that's what I'm waiting for now. So I had to go back to my primary care doctor to actually get another one. And she's like, okay.
I will kind of try to explain. So whenever we send any consult out into the community, I'll take us back to our days in the military where we had good old standard operating procedure.
Oh, not the SOP.
Well, we have what is called a SEOC, or a standardized episode of care.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially that is supposed to cover, we know if we're sending you to any oncologist, that they're going to have certain tests or certain things that they want to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
If we're sending you to see an orthopedist, we know that they're going to have certain things that they want to do. So how all of that gets taken care of is it has a ICD-10 code, or essentially it's a numeric code that goes back to what your diagnosis is. And that diagnosis has CPT codes that go along with it for those tests and so forth that the doctor might want to do. That SEOC is supposed to be kind of like an umbrella and cover everything that doctor might want to do or not want to do. That way they're not constantly getting back with us and saying, hey, is this approved? Hey, is this approved? Hey, is this approved? And you have to realize that, like, for my office, I'm attached to the Fayetteville, Arkansas VA. And we cover most of Northwest Arkansas to like middle Arkansas, like down to Fort Smith, Arkansas. We cover up to Nevada, Missouri. We cover a little bit into Kansas, a little bit into Oklahoma, and most of Southwest Missouri. So think like the Springfield, Branson area, Joplin area. We cover each catchment area covers a huge amount of area.
Right.
And think that we are kidding on all of those. I have to be responsible. Like my office, we have teams that are like the team that I was on for most of my 4.5 years was the team that did all the ortho, neurology, neurosurgery, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. So we would deal with any veteran who had that going out into the community, and I would built the relationship with the offices of out in the community that we're sending it out to, as well as building that relationship with the veteran to try and get them the care that they need. Okay. So, not to say that people aren't normally nice. 99.9% of the veterans that we talk to on a given day are absolutely the sweetest as can be.
That 1% though.
There's that 1% though that tell you that you're an idiot, that you don't know what you're doing. And as a veteran, I treat the people that I take care of the same way I want to be treated.
Right.
The same way my dad, who was a veteran, I would want him treated, or my stepdad, who was a veteran before he passed, that I would want them treated. It's just a matter of, if you treat me well, I'm going to go above and beyond for you. You piss me off, I'm still going to do my job.
Just not to the same quality that I would have done it when you were nice.
I mean, and I've dealt with that. Don't get me wrong. And about a year ago, so if you don't know what a VISN is, so a VISN is like the best way I can explain it is a district. So in my VISN, we've got Fayetteville, Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, Biloxi, Mississippi, Shreveport, Jackson, New Orleans, and Alexandria are all in my catchment area. And about a year ago, I went to a team called the VISN Assist team. To put it nicely, whenever a consult gets put in, ideally we are supposed to have you guys called, have that consult built and out to the provider and scheduled within 7 days. That is the federal metric. My VA, Office of Community Care, we've gotten pretty good in our practices and our processes, and we've got it pretty well down. Our average for my VA is 10 days that we can get it out, get it scheduled. Now that doesn't mean that you're scheduled on for that 7th day on an appointment for that 7th day. It just means that appointment is scheduled. It might be 3 months out. It might be 6 months out. Can't tell you. And as great as community care is, we fight with having doctor availability just the same way the VA does. Because even though your VA care is not, it's an entitlement and it's not actual insurance. We have a third-party payer who goes out and pays the bills for us.
Mm-hmm.
For area 1, 2, and 3, that is Optum, which is United Healthcare. For anything Texas, Oklahoma still ends up being in 3. But pretty much anything Texas West is still TriWest as the third-party payer. So when we tell you, hey, that doctor's not in network, think of it as having your regular insurance and that doctor not being in network with your regular insurance.
Mm-hmm.
We can't send you to them. And there are only so many doctors that take it, because I'll be completely honest with you, whenever I'm getting ready to send a consult out, I'm not sending a 1 or 2 page note to that doctor saying, hey, I need you to get this veteran scheduled. I am sending anywhere from 16 to 60 pages worth of your medical documentation out to that provider that they have to fish through and look through, figure out what the orders are, figure out what they're saying you for. It can be a pain in the ass. I'll be completely honest.
Yeah.
I went out for an MRI myself on Wednesday and out into the community. And after they finished my MRI, I literally had to go through that 16 pages worth of documentation they'd been sent for me and show them where my orders were and show them where to look for stuff, because I'm lucky enough that I work there and I know what where I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be difficult for them as well as for us.
Right.
So and I previously also worked at a hospital out in the community for 2 years where we took care of veterans. It can be a pain in the ass for everybody who's involved in it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So we're going to take a break, but when we come back, I want to ask you about something like this, where it's a collection notice from LabCorp, who is, after community care, they have their own blood work and everything. They send us there, so we have to do
the
this.
hospital sends you out for that, and they don't share the authorization number.
I paid some of the ones that are like $16 or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is ridiculous. That is for $1,100, and
I will
it's supposed to be 100%. Thank you. So welcome back. You're listening to the Battle Rhythm Podcast on Military Broadcast Radio, and this is brought to you by LT Defense Tactical.
Been home about 6 months now, and I still have my doubts. Well, I'm not sure how I got here or how I'm gonna get out. Well, my mama says I look the same as I did before I left, but if she could see inside of me, it would scare her to death. I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, run, soldier, run. And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders, God and weight a ton. And I see death in every single thought. Well, they taught me how to put that uniform on, I just can't get it off. Last Saturday they honored us in a small parade downtown, and when they shot off those fireworks, I nearly hit the ground. And while they smiled and cheered for us, all I could do was stare, 'cause part of me is here at home, but part of me's back there. Well, I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, run, soldier, run. And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders, God and weight a ton. And I see death in they taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it off. Yeah, there's no end in sight. 'Cause even though I'm home now, I'm still fighting for my life. Well, I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, "Run, soldier, run!" And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders, got it weighed a ton. And I see death in every single thought. Well, they taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it all. Well, the devil's won some battles, and he may win some more. But don't he know the American soldier will always win the war?
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome back to the Battle Rhythm Podcast on Military Broadcast Radio. I am Caesar, your host. I am joined by Anna.
It's pronounced Gina, but I answer to pretty much anything that sounds like it's starting with a G or a J.
Thanks, Gary. No, just kidding. Gianna Adams. She's here helping us navigate through the exciting life of the VA community care system. And before the break, I showed her a bill that well, it's not mine. It's my wife's, but we received it. It's for community care, and it's for an obscene amount of money. That I was like, well, I thought this, the whole thing was 100% covered because it's through that. So
Again, I'll go to that lovely SEOC. It's supposed to cover any lab work. Ideally, your community care office, whenever they're sending you out, should be sending you a letter that has the VA auth number on it. I always make sure that I literally have a folder where I keep all of those handy dandy letters. That way I've got the valid dates and I've got the appointments and the VA auth number. So if you can associate that back to a specific appointment or a specific authorization, what you would do is call the lovely 800 number that I am sure is on that LabCorp bill.
Oh, yeah.
And tell them that they need to rebill it and give them that VA auth number.
Okay.
And valid dates in order to do that. If they refuse to do that, I promise that you have got a person who helps with your Office of Community Care. You should have a person or two people that helps with that will contact the provider for you, give them that information. But again, for me personally, I have a literal folder where I keep stuff for my own VA community care stuff. That way I can say, hey, you need to rebill it under this off. This is the valid dates for it.
Mm-hmm. And is that under the, do we have to go under, well, for me, it's TriWest. So do I need to go
it
to
would
the
be
TriWest
for you
website?
guys, yeah.
Well, because I know you can download stuff from the TriWest website, right?
So I have the ability, for me personally, because I am an employee, I can log into the Optum portal. I used to be able to log into the TriWest portal because it was TriWest nationwide when I first started for about 6 months. And then we switched over to the Optum over here in 1, 2, and 3. So
okay.
If you look at the stuff on the
right,
like
but what I'm saying is, when I logged into the TriWest website, I think there's authorizations there that actually you should be able to write them down, right? Or I'm sorry,
you should be able to write them down. Ideally, like I said, for my office, whenever we send a consult out, we send a letter that has the approximate valid dates along with the auth number and who we sent it to, and the provider that we sent it to. Can that change? Yes, it does all the time. For instance, like your oncology, like say they sent you to a regular oncology surgeon, but they also needed, and I'm just going to use this as an example, say they needed to send you to an orthopedic oncology doctor.
Mhm.
We could add that on as essentially a secondary line of service. Essentially, like when you've got like an orthopedic consult, there's automatically 15 visits of orthopedic or not orthopedic, but physical or occupational therapy that are covered under that. I can add on that physical therapy provider because it's covered under the consult. Diagnostic labs and diagnostic imaging are again also covered under that consult. But the thing is I have to have, in order to do that, I have to have the National Provider ID or NPI for whoever's providing that service
Mhm.
and an appointment date. Ideally, your provider who is sending you out to have those labs done at LabCorp would also share that VA auth number with that provider. It doesn't always get shared,
Yeah.
sadly.
Yeah. As I found out, yeah, because I paid the last several ones. And I mean, it's
Ideally, again, that is why I keep my own.
yeah.
And if I don't happen to have mine with me, I'm lucky enough that, again, I work there. I can make a phone call and get a hold of somebody pretty quick and say, hey, what's my auth number and my valid dates?
Yeah. Hey, supervisor. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's good. That's good information to know. I mean, I know a lot of us uh, struggle with the fact that we can't, like I said, it takes forever to actually do anything. And I'm not just saying it's 'cause if there's a
No,
second
I know.
There's a second, if you have an authorization and then there's a second consult to another specialist because if they need to have surgery or whatever, which is in my case,
They need to have they have to send back what's called a request for services or an RFS along with the clinical notes. It's like any other referral from one doctor to another. They have to have the documentation where we have to start. So the process is when that RFS comes back to us, it goes through my nurses. My nurses will say yes, but they have to have the clinical notes along with the RFS so that they can read that and understand what the doctor's thought process is on, oh, okay, we're sending him out to see this specific surgeon for this reason, as opposed to just, hey, he needs to go see this doctor. We have to know why, and it has to be considered clinically appropriate before it goes back to your in-house PCP at the VA for them to put a new consult in for it to come back out to us.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. That's the good information to know, and I'm glad that you clarified it for us, and I'm sure that that we again. I don't know. I know enough to be dangerous, but I don't know enough to actually be like potentially completely dangerous. You know what I mean? Because I know just enough to be like, okay, I know I need to go to community care, and if it's more than 30 days where the VA doesn't have the appointment, then we can actually. But you can still request to go to a community care, especially if for me. I belong to the VA, the Dallas VA, right? So I'm in the big area. So going down to the Dallas VA, it takes almost an hour plus for me to get down there. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's me taking an entire day of work to go down there because hey, you have to fight with traffic. You have to wait there for a couple hours. By the time you come back, it's like, yeah, so it's a 1 hour or a 10-minute appointment. It takes you 4 hours, or more to actually get in and out. So I always opt out to actually get a community care. Now my clinic, my primary doctor is here in town, which is nice. And then I go to Bonham, which is right down the road, close to to Paris, Texas. So it's not that far, but there were talks that they were going to shut down Bonham, and everybody was going to go down to Dallas. So I'm just glad that right now that I have my primary care doctor is here and stuff like that, and I'm able to actually use those doctors. And my primary care doctor, love her to death. She's awesome. The funny part about it, in living in a small town, is that my primary care doctor is the wife of my wife's boss. So if I need something, I call my wife, be like, hey, tell your boss, and if not, he'll call her, be like, hey, call Caesar. So we're doing this whole quiet square, be like, hey, I
Square,
need this,
yeah.
and then it gets done. That again, that's a little perk that I have. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that it always works, but if I have a question like, hey, I got to get a hold of her because this is what's going on with my doctor, and she'd be like, okay, no, boom, and she'll call because of that. You know what I mean? So, and she is such a great doctor in the fact that she's for the veteran. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, you get some of those doctors that are like just literally there just to retire or collect a paycheck that they don't really care.
And that is honest to God the truth. Sometimes
And
my
this
first
one,
PCP when I moved down here to working, because I was in the Branson, Missouri area and had my local CBOT clinic that I loved. My nurse practitioner that I went to was fabulous. First doctor I got assigned to down here at the main Fayetteville Hospital.
nightmare.
I don't need a doctor who's got fabulous, as a female. I don't need the only female or anything like that, but I need a doctor who's going to listen to me. Now, given, I will tell you that 4 years ago, I turned over in April and herniated my C6, C7, and it was impinging on my spinal cord and my brachial nerve down my right arm. She did not want to give me an MRI because, again, we were in the middle of COVID. Pretty much everything shut down, And she's like, oh, it's carpal tunnel. You can wait 3 months until we open everything back up. Here's the thing. I'm very good friends with the supervisor of my patient advocates for my hospital. Because here's the thing, whenever you do a congressional, the congressional then comes back to our patient advocate. Patient advocate gets a hold of whoever on the team or whoever on community care that they need to deal with to find out what's going on.
What do you mean by congressional?
Huh?
What do you mean by congressional?
So a lot of times you will get, well, I'm going to call my congressman. I'm going to call my congressman to get things moving. And you are perfectly well within your rights to call your congressman and make a complaint and to find out what's going on. Here's the thing. I don't generally involve the congressman because I know what's going to happen. It's going to come to my patient advocate. My patient advocate's going to contact who they need to contact, and it'll be taken care of. So for the most part, I just don't bother with doing the congressional. I've done a congressional before I worked here to get what I needed taken care of. But I literally, when I had that happen 4 years ago, and the doctor that I was dealing with wanted me to wait 3 to 4 months for an MRI. I was like, no, this is not what it is. She didn't believe me. She wouldn't listen to me. And I was like, okay, I got a hold of, patient advocate came into the office to talk to one of my coworkers about something. And I said, hey, I need to talk to you before you leave. And she's like, okay, forgive me. I have 3 very large dogs and probably have a cat outside probably. But I made that phone call to her. I talked to her. I had an MRI appointment by the end of the day.
Oh, wow. That's good to have that type of connection right there and there.
And it is.
That's good.
And at the end of it, she's like, and I assume you want a new PCP. And I said, you are correct. I do. I mean, quite literally, in the 5 appointments that I'd had with this PCP that I had at the time, she hadn't even listened to my lungs when I was in there for an appointment. She'd never even laid hands on me.
Wow.
To do anything. And you want to sit here and tell me, this is what it is. And it was like, no, we're not going to play that. And when we got my MRI back, she literally called and apologized to me and said, I guess I should listen to my patients more, huh?
Yeah. You think, right? You think
I was like,
be the case.
You think?
Yeah, exactly.
And when I got to my neurosurgeon, he literally told me I was lucky to still be walking.
Oh, wow. Well, we're glad that you were here because you're sharing good information for all of us. Again, this show that I have is because a lot of us don't have the knowledge of how it works.
Yeah.
A lot of us just kind of like go through I have I have an appointment with a doctor's with a VA doctor. Okay, great. What does that entail? Or all this or this, and we never really pay attention, and the worst part is that we got to be our own advocates sometimes.
You do.
And
You do.
do that. So
To give you an example, I had an MRI out in the community on Wednesday. There was a bunch of stuff that they found on the MRI. The nurse who's filling in for my current PCP's nurse, I literally sent them a copy of this, which is the read from my MRI.
Mm-hmm.
And all they did was all that the nurse that is covering for my current nurse did was copy and paste this back in for me. I'm like, I
could have done that.
I can read that. I've got it right here. I said, can we discuss the demyelinization of my spinal cord that it mentions? Can we discuss the fact that I've got this nodule of some kind that's right here that's 2 centimeters to almost 3 centimeters big by 3 centimeters wide? And the fact that the radiologist that read this says that I need to have another CT and another MRI, both with contrast. That's what I'm more worried about.
Wow.
I can read this. I already did.
Yeah.
And I'm already scared shitless about the possibilities.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's not what I need for you to tell me. I need you to tell me, yes, we're putting in an order for a CT. Yes, we're putting in an order for an MRI.
Yeah.
That's what I need to hear from you.
Well, exactly. So, with that said, I mean, man, I'm gonna tell you now that I want you to come back on the show later on. You know, I mean, you're a friend of the show now, so if we ever have any more questions regarding the community care, we can have you on, and we'll build those questions out and stuff like that, because I'm not gonna, obviously you don't belong to everybody. Our show's nationwide and actually worldwide with military radio.
So I will also tell you that part of what I do, the team that I'm currently on, as I said, my Fayetteville, Arkansas Office of Community Care, we've gotten pretty good at our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to pat myself on the back or anything like that, but we have gotten really good at doing what we do. They created a team called the Vision Assist team in my Vision, which is 16. And so I have spent most of the last year helping out the Biloxi Office of Community Care. We just pulled out of Biloxi fully. We're now helping Shreveport and getting ready to start helping Jackson.
Oh, well, dude. Well, I'm
There's
doing
a group of 20 of us 20 administrative staff, 10 nurses, and we go in and we help them. As my daughter would say, we're putting out the fires. We're firemen.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna pass the mic over to a guy that actually probably has a lot of questions.
Okay.
Because Grizz is also, obviously he's a vet, but I'm sure he's had his own nightmares. Not physical, but with doctors. So Grizz, I know you have some questions regarding this topic, because it's again, it's one of those things that we don't always want to pay attention to, or we have been victims of I'll get you the referral or whatnot. So what kind of questions you got, dude?
Well, I have nothing good to say about VA. I strictly go through community care, and now that I'm on SSDI, I have Medicaid and Medicare now.
Which is a good thing, by the way.
VA has screwed me over since I got out of the military. I have proof that I was blown up and had a brain injury and a head injury, and VA is still trying to say that there's no proof of it because the unit didn't write it down. Well, in 2003, we didn't keep track of anything.
Yeah.
So in 2021, I actually had 2 strokes right where I landed, and my head got hit, which they were very rare strokes. They were right on my spinal cord, right on the 2 arteries
on the
coming out my neck.
brainstem.
You don't get that. Well, the VA doctors and the doctors were trying to get me to tell them I was in a car accident. They were literally trying to persuade me to tell them that I did something else. And it was extremely frustrating that I don't, and they still won't recognize it. And I'm still fighting that with my VSO and stuff. I mean, I'm on my 5th appeal on this, and they're still denying it, even though I have 5 witness statements of soldiers that were actually with me. One of them actually pulled me to safety because I was unconscious. I was unconscious for almost 15 minutes. And then 4 other guys that actually witnessed and were there, and they knew that the truck got hit with an RPG, and I lost footing and I fell and landed on my head. There, all of this stuff going on. Not to mention, I actually have a Nexus letter from a VA doctor, and VA is still denying me.
Gotta get Congressman involved there, guy.
Call your congressman. I don't generally say, hey, call the congressman, but call the congressman.
Well, I live in this wonderful, very blue state that our congressman, I won't talk to her because I called her out. I mean, long story short, 2 years ago, Caesar's heard this. We were at a Memorial Day ceremony at our national cemetery. And this lady got up there and was talking about vets and what she does for vets and this and that, to the point that it made me so mad. I stood up and said, look, we're not here to talk about vets. It's Memorial Day. I have dead brothers and sisters out there, and you're trying to politically promote yourself right now. What is wrong with you? And so I won't call her. And, you know, her wonderful name's Patty Murray, and she's horrible for VA, but yet she tries to claim she is.
Big Grizz for Washington Congress.
Give you an idea. Each congressman has essentially somebody that does all of the VA stuff in their offices, that it's actually not getting looked at by the congressman. It's getting looked at by their staffer.
Okay.
And their staffer is the person who actually does all of that.
Okay.
And then we'll report back of, hey, either this is fixed or this is what's wrong and what we need to work on. And they'll get back to you.
So,
but it's not actually the actual congressman usually who's doing it for you.
Gotcha. Okay, well that makes a lot of sense, and maybe I will reach out. I don't know. I'm so angry at the whole.
You won't remember your name or who you are. You're fine.
Oh no, that's fine. Have you seen this happen?
If they do.
I really don't. I mean, I stood up in front of 1,000 people and called her out on who she was, and can't go nowhere. I walked out of there, didn't get tackled by nobody. But have you seen VA deny an actual doctor saying that he believes the injury is from an injury I sustained in Iraq? I mean, he legit wrote, he believes my strokes were caused by the injury I sustained in Iraq.
That is rather surprising to me, especially if you've managed to get an Nexus letter from a VA doctor, because
Super hard to get.
Yeah. I am nowhere on the benefits side of things. They are a completely different department than we are.
Oh, I don't even want the benefits. I just want it recognized so I can have medical coverage for it.
But the thing is it has to be, you have to get benefits for it in order for it to be covered. The medical care for it.
Okay. Yep. So any thought process besides getting a hold of my congressman on, I mean, should I go to like a higher level review? Or
I would. I mean, I'm in the process of trying to up my stuff for my own back and neck issues.
Okay.
To try and get my stuff recognized and paid for.
Yep.
So.
And this is why we have the show, because we try to help one another and
big time,
resources. Yeah. So this is why. But go ahead, Grizz. I cut you off. Sorry about that.
No, besides the fact that it takes forever to do anything with VA. I mean, once community health came out, I haven't been to a VA hospital because I'm sick of like you said. I mean, if I were to go to the VA hospital here, I got to drive an hour, sit in traffic to get to a city that I'm not even comfortable in, to sit there and wait 3 to 4 hours before a doctor will even see me. And I don't understand why is it so hard for vets to actually be taken care of at a VA hospital when they're for veterans?
Number one, we need more hospitals. We need better equipped hospitals than what we currently have.
Okay.
And this is just my opinion for anybody. I am just a poor lowly GS6 and my VA. This is just my opinion. But we need more hospitals, and we need better hospitals. I mean, to give you an idea, the hospital that I go to, the biggest majority of the building of my hospital was built in 1906.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
1906. Wow. I mean, we've got a couple of buildings added onto it, but the biggest majority of our hospital where I'm at is literally a 1906 building.
And those were built in 1966.
Yeah. I wish our government would do more for vets. They talk a big game on TV and that they're doing this, but we don't see it. That's the thing. We don't see it. So how is it? It's not even believable because nothing changes. I wish somehow something could happen that VA, put a boot up their ass and make them realize, they need to actually build a relationship with their patient and learn that patient to understand what's actually going on instead of just reading a book saying, oh no, you're this, leave. I mean, that's why I love community health, is because you get that one-on-one with the doctor and you see that doctor over and over again.
As long as that doctor maintains being in network.
Oh,
okay.
Shots
I
fired.
never thought about that. I mean,
No, the only reason I say that, and I'll use myself as an example. My rheumatologist was in network for the longest time. Then there was almost a year that he wasn't in network. Thank God I maintained my regular insurance through the Federal Blue Cross Blue Shield, because I had to pay to go see him because I didn't want to change rheumatologists because I have one that I like. And that's, and one thing that I will continually maintain to anybody, and I say this as someone who, again, worked at an outside hospital for 2 years, if you are on Medicare, I know it takes money out of your Medicare check, but make sure you get your Medicare Part B.
I pay for B. I got A
Pay
and B.
for your B. I cannot tell you how important that is for people. Pay for your Medicare Part B.
I didn't get a choice in that. Is that something new with Social
No,
Security?
people can with who are on Social Security, they can elect not to have their B.
Oh, so they
don't
just
wanna
put me into it. I guess I could have. They did it. There was a thing saying I could deny it, but I mean, I'm only 42,
don't.
and I have to have
If
it.
anybody that you know, please tell them not to.
So what's the difference between A and B? I actually
Okay, so Medicare Part A is what covers any hospitalizations. So if you go to the ER and you are admitted, Medicare Part A covers that admission to the hospital.
Okay.
Medicare Part B is you going out to see your psychiatrist or going out to see your orthopedist or your rheumatologist or your cardiologist. That's what that covers. It covers you going out to see your primary care doctor. So Medicare Part C, you may have heard like Advantage plans where like an outside provider like Humana or United Healthcare comes in and they take what you're paying into that Medicare Part B, and they also get paid from the Medicare Part A, and they offer what is supposed to be supposedly a better plan, but it's not always a better plan. In fact, it usually is not a better plan.
Okay.
You are lucky, Grizz, that you also have Medicaid to cover anything that your Medicare doesn't, because you've got the Medicaid, which is fabulous. And it covers that extra. But like, for instance, my mom has Medicare A and B because she's 79, and she also has Mutual of Omaha as a supplement. Your supplement for you, Grizz, is actually that you've got the Medicaid is your supplement.
Okay.
But Mutual of Omaha tends to be one of the better supplements, although there are others out there. For instance, I intend to retire from the VA, and my supplement, when I get old enough to possibly retire or hit Medicare age, I will have my Federal Blue Cross Blue Shield as my supplement. I'll have to pay a little bit more for it out of my retirement stuff, but I'll have it as my supplement to cover extra. So,
well, thank you. That was a lot of good information on that. And I know there's probably a lot of vets that are on Social Security and have Medicare A and B and don't know. I mean, I didn't know what it was, and I wasn't going to sit on hold for 3 hours with the state to try and get through to anybody.
And I completely understand. I completely get that. And, I have had a lot of my friends. I tend to be friends with a lot of people who are in their 60s, early 70s. And my mother, I am like my mother's, I'll call it her tech support in many ways. Anytime she's got a question for anything having to do with a veteran, I get the phone call. And, anytime she's got any questions on just even her insurance, or have friends who have said, oh, I'm getting ready to retire, what do I need to do insurance wise? Because that was what I did at the outside hospital, was I would run and do like estimates on how much a test was going to cost somebody and call them and say, hey, verifying this is your address, all of this stuff. This is what this test is going to cost you approximately with your insurance.
I got one last question for you on the VA side of it, since I physically can't work anymore. Would it be smart to go IU? Since I can't work anymore, and I mean this is what I do is this with MBR. So I just don't know if it'd be worth it.
If you are going to go unemployable, it's kind of like, you're allowed with your Medicare and so forth and your SSDI, you're allowed to make a certain amount per month. I think it's less than $1,000 or $1,400 a month, if I'm correct.
This is all voluntary.
Then I can't get it.
Yeah.
So
I get more than that in Social Security.
Well, no, you're fine with Social Security, but like if you were to be paid for any type of a job.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Of a thing.
Okay.
Like if I didn't know if Caesar was paying you or if it was just voluntary for what you're, for you helping him. But if you make more than $1,400 a month, I want to say it is, over what you're getting anything else, like if you were to have a job or anything like that as a secondary, if you make more than that, then yes, it can affect it and what you're getting, and they start pulling benefits away. And I don't want that to happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But if you are not able to work, then yes, I would go for the unemployability. Are you already at 100 or?
I'm at 80.
You're at 80? Okay. If I were you, then yes, I would go for the unemployability, especially since you've already got SSDI and Medicare going on. I would go ahead and do it.
Okay. I just got to pay attention to money-wise outside of that if it's on paper anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
thank you so much. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I do appreciate you taking the time, and I'm glad it worked out. The fact that you're laid at home right now, so that's actually great.
I mean, I'm actually sitting in my office area. I work from home.
Oh, here
so.
We go. No, that's awesome. But thank you so much for joining us.
To see what I would normally look like even working.
There you go. Well, we appreciate you giving us the great information about the community care for VA, and you're a friend of the shows now. You are more than welcome to come back, in the future to give us more information on other things that we can do. So I appreciate it so much.
And
so thank you.
I mean, I don't know if you want to put like.
No, we will not, because
put my VA email
no, we will not.
Direct somebody to me on TikTok if you need to.
Okay, we can do that.
I am fine with that. If they can send me.
She is one of my friends on TikTok, and that's how we met, because we met through another veteran, actually through Eric, who we had last week. He was on my show last week, and we talked. The week.
Oh yeah, I remember. That was the week before.
Yeah,
last week it was just me and you. Being weird.
Last week we had a Seinfeld show. It was the show about nothing.
Literally nothing. Yeah. I think we had two other hosts, two other podcasts.
It turned out pretty fun. It was actually really good. So I encourage you to actually go look at that video for it's on YouTube. So good. But you'll come back in the future to give us more information on this. So we appreciate it so much. Jenna, so thank you. So you're listening to the Battle Rhythm Podcast on Military Broadcast Radio, brought to you by LT Defense. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back with the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot moment.
Introducing LT Defense Tactical Gear, your ultimate solution for top-notch protection and performance in the field. Our armor bundles provide unmatched safety and comfort, while our battle belts and holsters ensure quick and easy access to your gear. Stay prepared for any situation with our high-quality medical supplies, designed to keep you ready for action at all times. Looking to enhance your skills? Our firearms training programs will take your proficiency to the next level. Trust LT Defense for all your tactical gear needs and gear up for success on the battlefield.
All right.
Sorry, I forgot the countdown. My bad.
Nah, you're good, dude. You are good. Let's see. We're just going here. So you were good. So
Bruce has the beard I imagined he'd have.
Oh, you did.
Boy, it went from the top of his head to the middle of his face.
It sure did. It sure
So
did. Instead of growing up, gravity took over.
Yep, sure did. So, all right, we're actually going to bring in a new segment. How's that? You ready for this? All right, here we go with a brand new segment. This is called
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot of the Week, sponsored by James Areskog, giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot for the week, brought to you by the Battle Rhythm Podcast as well. So, as we all know, yesterday was the presidential debate, and I'm not getting political. I am just going to get to the point where I loved the fact that it was hilarious to see at a point in time where the current president, was actually saying, we did this with our borders, borders, borders. And then it goes back to 45, and he says, I honestly don't know what he just said, and it made no sense because I don't know what exactly he said. And I was like, oh, that is perfect. That is so perfect right now, because it just caught me off guard. I was like, oh my God, he's killing me, because he's actually pretty funny on that. That was just great. It was great. I loved it. That was my WTF moment for the week.
No, that definitely happened. That I mean, we talked earlier. That was I don't even know. It seemed more like a comedy routine than it did a debate to me.
Like I said, I mentioned that it was 2 minutes rather than the normal 6 seconds where they had that. So I don't know what it was. I mean, they fed him the questions prior to even seeing them. Because they couldn't have notes. And if you're a well-prepared politician, regardless of who you are, you should not even need any notes other than just, bullets. You know what I mean? Like, or a reminder of something.
Well, they said that they had Biden at Camp David for a week with his advisors going over these questions and preparing him for this. And
I think they just couldn't even change his diaper. That's the only reason.
It had to have been. I don't, man. Like I told you before, I mean, he looked like somebody that should be in hospice.
Yeah.
He didn't look like he should be on stage. I mean, the first 10 minutes of the thing, he couldn't even get a sentence out. Yeah, it was all sorts of bad. And Trump wasn't any better, in my opinion. He looked like very
well. This looked even worse than the 1960 debate with Nixon and Kennedy. Because Kennedy he knew that he had Nixon at that point, because Nixon was just sweaty. He's like, no, keep the cameras on him. Everybody's gonna know, like, you're basically full of doo-doo on this point. And it's just one of those things of you're like, nope. But you're right. I think Biden lost the debate, but I don't think Trump won it either. So
no,
because it was just so, I don't know, badly put. I don't know.
Well, you have one guy that couldn't come up with a sentence. And then you have another guy that all he wanted to do was make the other guy look bad, and in turn, it made him look worse.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
I will say this. So I was proud of the fact that he didn't actually insult this time. Not really call him names or anything like that. He just said,
"Yeah, no,
I don't understand." He just made it much more official. But hey, we are out of time for the week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. This is Caesar with the Military Broadcast Radio. Next week, we will be back with the show at the 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Central, and 11 o'clock, 9 o'clock? I don't know.
My time is 10.
Yeah, you're 10 o'clock. That's what I said. 10 o'clock.
That's not what you said, but you said 11. I mean, you're kind of off.
No, I said 11. Yeah, whatever.
11 would
be
11
Central, 11 Mountain. 11 Mountain.
There you go.
Yeah, 11 Mountain. See? I knew I was right. But hey guys, thanks for joining us. Next week, if you guys have any questions again for Josh Turner, his email will be on the email, and contact information is on the it will be on the description. And also for want to thank Jenna for actually coming in and explaining to us everything about the VA. So you guys, thank you so much for everything. I am Caesar. I'm signing off for the week. I will see you guys next week.
That's the show for today, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with an all-new show. And remember, you can listen to us again and again. The podcast of this radio show is available right after we go off the air tonight, anywhere that you can get your podcast episodes. And thanks for joining us today. I'd like to take a moment to talk about something close to my heart. Military Broadcast Radio is doing incredible work to support our veterans and bring their voices to the world. They rely on your generous donations and your dedicated volunteer hours to make it happen. I encourage you to consider supporting NBR in any way, form that you can. Use this QR code that's attached to the picture, or you can go to our website at mbradio.us. That's Mike Bravo Radio.us to learn more about how you can donate.